Let's take a look at the story of the day in round one of the GS Caltex Maekyung Open, the fourth event on OneAsia 2013, and we move first of all to the defending champion, Min-gyu, wanting to make an early impression. This is his second shot at the first hole, 403-yard par 4 to a front left pin, and he came up with a beautiful approach, and that set up an early birdie to give him some early impetus. Kim Dae-hyun bombing a long one and making his third shot at the first hole. So he too getting things going early on.
Matthew Griffin just short of the par 5 fourth for 2 and showing deft touch. Matthew Griffin would tap that in for birdie. Kang-kyung Nam, this very good Korean player, out of the deep rough on the fourth and using the slope to advantage, left himself an uphill birdie putt and made no mistake. Kang-kyung Nam goes into red figures.
Speaking of red figures, one man had plenty of them. In fact, a couple of men had plenty of them. Here's one of them. Min-gyu at the 9th hole. This is his final hole. He went out in 32 after birdies at 10, 12, 14 and 16. And then on the way home made a birdie at 3, birdie at 4, a birdie at 5. And then finished his round in style with a birdie at his final hole. 32-32, an 8 under par round for Min-gyu.
Australian Terry Pilkadaris was on a tear, had another birdie putt on the 8th hole. Rolled it in, went to 7 under par. Terry Pilkadaris.
And there are a decent collection of players chasing the two leaders. Here's one of them, Kim Do-hoon, 7.53, who shot a 5 under par round of 67. That was a birdie at the 8th, but his round also included an eagle today at 4.
Well, he wasn't done with Terry Pilkadaris, left himself this downhill 3-foot putt on his final hole, the 9th, and he would sign in for an 8 under par round of 64, co-leader.
Just about the best shot of the day that we saw was on the 14th, and this is Yoon Jung-ho at the par 5, missed the green right, and then had a downward slope from the back of the green, used it beautifully and used it all the way into the hole, so that was simply brilliant. A chip-in eagle for Yoon Jung-ho at the 14th, our best shot of the day.
And almost as spectacular was the second shot for Australian Peter Wilson on the par 5 16th. His drive up the left-hand side and cut a 3-wood. Judged it to perfection. It ran all the way up the green and nestled right behind the cup. Peter Wilson to tap that in for an eagle 3 and go to 2 under par.
Also at the 16th hole, Kim Woo-chan, who got off to a flying start, was looking as though at one stage that he might even challenge the leaders. A string of birdies, and that set up another one for him, and he was able to get it to 5 under par. He was the closest of the chasers out on the course at that stage.
Australian Matthew Griffin is out in quest of his second OneAsia title. It was just 1 under par at the 15th and came up with this shot. 60-degree wedge for his second and nearly slam dunks it. Matt Griffin tapped that in for a birdie and went to 2 under.
Kang-kyung Nam's day was not bad early on. He made 2 birdies and a bogey on his outward 9 for a 35 score out. But then 3 birdies on the way in at 12, at 16, and this one at 17. And he was able to card a 4 under par round of 68, a very pleasing opening from the Korean.
We saw Matthew Griffin birdie 15. He also birdied 16 and 17 and came to 18, looking for 4 in a row. This is second shot from the left-hand side of the fairway and really had the radar on to close Matthew Griffin. He'd roll that in for 4 birdies in a row in a round of 67.
So at the end of round one, or getting towards the end of round one, this is what the leaderboard looked like. It was Min-gyu and Terry Pilkadaris, the Korean and the Australian, at the top of the leaderboard. 8 under par rounds of 64 to begin their quest at the GS Caltex Maekyung Open Championship in Seoul, South Korea.